Hello chess friends and welcome to your Art of Chess channel and welcome to really one of the most spectacular games between Magnus Carlsen against Alireza Firouzja. This game that I'll show you now has been played in the Chessable Masters in 2024. In my opinion, really sharp tactical game with really great methods of the Trompowsky attack. You heard it right there. Here Magnus Carlsen will pull off the rare Trompowsky attack against Alireza Firouzja's the Indian defense. So in my opinion, it was simply such an incredible game with also incredible endgame techniques. So put your seatbelts on and enjoy simply one of the greatest games of 2024. So let's dive now into the game. The game was a rapid game in which Magnus Carlsen opened with the move d4, knight to f6 by Alireza, bishop to g5, the amazing Trompowsky attack. We have now the move d5, and I really liked already Alireza's approach. He's saying, show me what you got with your Trompowsky attack, because usually in the Trompowsky attack you're trying to play something like bishop to f6 to cause some damage on the king side to mess up somehow the pawn structure. But I'm not so scared, I think, to play now this game from black's perspective. Although you have a messy pawn structure, you have still great attacking chances. I think the main concept is then rook to g8, attacking the g file, then e5 maybe can be played in the later stage of the game, bishop to d6. You have still the bishop pair on the board, so I think this would be a rushed trade of pieces here by white. Although this line has been played many times in chess history, I would still not recommend it here to play with the white pieces, because I guarantee you black will have his game for sure. So here, that's why Magnus says, okay, I'll keep it calm. I'll play in sort of a London system method. Of course, it's not the London system, but in the London system, you have the bishop on f4. In the Trompowsky attack, you have the bishop on g5. But what you're trying to do is usually to build this grip on dark squares, and your bishop is already outside of the pawn chain. We have now the move c5, knight to d2, knight to c6, and now c3, keeping everything glued together, everything compact on dark squares. And now, as I mentioned, the bishop is simply outside of the pawn chain. Really, we have similar strategic ideas like in the London system. It's not the same opening, but I think with similar plans. We have c takes d4 by Alireza, undermining now the center. We have e takes d4, h6, and again, you could try here, bishop takes f6. Maybe you think, okay, now the time was right to give up the bishop for knight, because now black has further weaken the pawn structure with the move h6. But again, I think this whole rook to g8 in some lines, maybe e5, bishop to d6, e6, bishop to d7, so you have, I think, in the next couple of moves really calm play here with the black pieces. Again, also this is playable for white, but here again Magnus Carlsen plays simply in his own positional style, plays now bishop to h4, retreats with the bishop, bishop to f5, and now knight to f3, e6, and now bishop to e2. So we have now the whole development here finished for Magnus Carlsen. You could maybe, instead of this move bishop to e2, try to play queen to b3, because the bishop is not on c8 anymore, and it's not protecting anymore the b7 pawn. But black can defend this attack very easily, so I think this queen to b3 concept is nothing spectacular. Then you play simply a6, and in some lines, if for instance white takes, then you have this one, knight to a5, even traps the queen. So as I said, nothing spectacular with this queen to b3 method. So again, Magnus keeps it calm, keeps it positional with bishop to e2, bishop to d6 by Alireza, Carlsen, queen to c7, and now bishop to g3, going simply for the trades of dark square bishop, because this dark square bishop of blacks is simply the most powerful minor piece on the board. Alireza traded off, h takes g3, and I would say a pretty equalish position, maybe slightly easier to play with the white pieces, because when we watch now the light square bishops, you don't want to have, of course, too many pawns on light squares when you have the light square bishop on the board. So now Magnus kept many of his pawns on dark squares, so maybe he has a slightly better activity with his own bishop. But okay, here Alireza plays now a novelty. He plays the beautiful h5. Here Alireza immediately goes for the attack, because Magnus, after move h takes g3, has already weakened his structure on the king side. And I wanted to show you what the actual tactical goal of this attack here by Alireza Firouzja. I'll play now a couple of bad moves here for white. Of course, Magnus did not play them, but I wanted to show what the issue. For instance, you try something like a4, Magnus played rook to e1, which was of course much better. But if you continue maybe to make progress on this side of the board, then the issue is you get through with h4. And the problem about h4 is, even if you take knight to h4, rook takes h4, g takes h4, you get checkmated. So Of course, it's just bad play here by Byte. But I wanted to show really the tactical goal of this attack, because many of us would not play, I think, the correct way here with the white pieces. So that's why Magnus played after move h5 by Alireza. Immediately the best continuation, rook to e1, and after move g6 by Alireza, he played now the move knight to f1. Now you see, even if black goes with knight to g4, still have a new protector of the h2 square, which was vulnerable in the previous line that I've explained you. So now Magnus is playing, first of all, solid defenses, but now with some ideas to maybe play a counterattack finally on this side of the board. And here knight to g4 anyway by Alireza. He continues with his plan. We have queen to d2, and now Alireza castles queenside. And we have now this beautiful opposite side attack game where the kings are on opposite sides, and who is faster on the attack will simply win the game. Magnus continues with the queenside counterattack with b4, king to b8, and now a4. So you see, Magnus has also very advanced pawns on this side of the board. f6 by Alireza, and now knight to h4. And here, good move again by Magnus Carlsen, which makes g5 or something very, very hard, because knight to f5 could happen, or this move e5. e5, I think, is also a nice plan that I think black could make, e5, but then again knight to f5 should be very, very solid and for white, and that's exactly what happened in the game. Alireza plays now his first mistake in the game. He plays now the move g5, and Magnus waited for this move. I think he anticipated this possibility. Actually, what black should have played, what Alireza should have played, is knight to e7. The thing about this move is that, first of all, you're protecting still your bishop on f5, and you get out of this potential attack when white is playing the move b5 himself here, when he's attacking your knight, and he gets an extra tempo against your piece, and then he could also break through with b6, sacrifice the pawns or something, and then if you take, then the b file is open, and you could have a tough time. Although the bishop is covering, but I guarantee you, if something clears here, it could be very dangerous. So knight to e7 must move. Then after something like b5, you play rook to c8, you attack this pawn, and then after, I don't know, knight to f5, knight to f5, still an equal position, I would say. But I think I would love to play now this game more from black's perspective. First of all, c3 weak, we have still opportunities to break and enter here on this side of the board. So I think this was must move here for Alireza after knight to h4 to play knight to e7. But he played g5, allowed here Magnus to take, knight takes f5, e takes f5, and notice now that the pawn on d5 is isolated, and you see how Magnus Carlsen will make progress against a simple weakness in Alireza Firouzja's position. So of course, nothing spectacular, but Magnus sometimes needs only one weakness in order to create new plans in the middle game stage. He plays, first of all, the move bishop to d3. He attacks now this pawn on f5, which becomes now, of course, a weakness that, unfortunately, Alireza Firouzja allowed, because he should have played, as we mentioned, knight to e7. And now he plays knight to e7, which is a little bit too slow. Maybe a better choice is to play f4. At least you're breaking the position. Then after something like queen to e2, you can take knight to g3, f5 is weak or something. But again, as I said, maybe this was Alireza's last chance somehow to get really back into the game, to break and enter somehow in the position. But he played knight to e7 now, which is not the best of choices, because here Magnus kicks away this, first of all, this knight to h6. Now look at this, the knight is on the edge of the board, it's not so well placed, and Magnus continues with active play. He plays now on the simple threat idea. He forces always now a new reaction by Alireza Firouzja. He has to now defend this pawn. Now he continues the pressure. Look how Magnus builds up now his attack easily, just because of one tiny little inaccuracy by Alireza Firouzja. And again, Alireza has to react knight to c8. Now both of these knights are on the on passive squares. In the previous line with knight to e7 that I've explained you, the knight would have been here on g5 and on f5. That's a whole different position now. Now Magnus continues again with his own plan on this side of the board. Great move, a5, knight to d6, a6. He's trying, of course, to cause some damage on this side of the board. Alireza passes through because he doesn't want to, of course, have some open files, because if you take, then the rook is coming. Maybe this could be open. Maybe also, I don't know, we can break through with b5 later, but the position finally in front of the king would be open. So that's why b6, knight to e3, and look at this. Now the d5 becomes a huge tactical problem here for Alireza. And even if you try, for instance, knight to f7 to protect maybe this pawn on d5, suddenly this one is hanging on f5, and also this one is hanging on f6. So you cannot protect everything here. After knight to e3, queen to d7 was played by Alireza. Alireza had now a different idea in mind. He's trying now to attack the rook, Magnus, and now it becomes really the critical moment of the game. Now the position is exploding. Here Magnus plays knight takes d5. He's saying again, show me what you got, show me what you have in plan against my rook on e6. Alireza plays now knight to e4, disconnects now this rook from the defense of the rook on e6, but now Magnus found a stunning idea with rook takes b6, and this was really epic, because here if you try, of course, f takes e4, then queen takes e6 is working, then black can get out of this mess. But Magnus played rook takes b6, incredible tactic, a takes b6, now f takes e4, and even if you try, I don't know, something like queen to h7 here to somehow keep some chances here, then c4 is simply cementing this knight in the center of the board. You can maybe try to do some tactics here, but then a7, look at this, the position is so dangerous. The rook will come into the game through the b file, maybe queen to b2, rook to a1, but the most important thing to say is here the knight is staying on this beautiful square on d5 for sure. So here after f takes e4, Alireza tried king to a7, hiding behind this pawn, which makes perfect sense. But now Magnus played another beautiful move, b5. Simply continue the attacking flow on this side of the board. F takes e4, bishop to e4. Great move again by Magnus, because it seems so that you could be lost after something like, I don't know, f5, but Magnus had everything under control. You could then retreat, and even if you try to attack the bishop, queen takes h6 will first of all happen. You can maybe grab this one, but now you're getting destroyed with this beautiful tactical sequence. You have to give up now the queen, and again, it's game over in the next couple of moves. I think you can get you will get even checkmate. So see, bishop to e4 is actually working, and still the knight is well placed on d5. As we saw, f5 is not so dangerous to handle for Magnus Carlsen. But look, what Magnus sees in faster time formats, that actually this knight is vulnerable to the attack. So that's why queen to b5 here by Alireza, and now another beautiful follow-up by Magnus, c4. This is the way to go. Even if you pick up now, this wasn't playing the game, but then rook to c1, you have to step back. This rook is coming, you're trying to do something like this, then bishop to d3 wins the game. If you step back here to a8, then we have this one, knight to b6, double check with both of these pieces. You're trying something like this, and you can get even checkmated here with a beautiful move like rook to b7. So c4, another great follow-up here by Magnus. Queen to a5 by Alireza Firouzja, and now knight to b4 with the threat of knight to c6, the royal fork against the queen, the king, but also of course against the rook. So that's why in order to stay in the game, Alireza had to play rook to c8, knight to c6 by Magnus, rook takes c6, queen takes a5, b takes a5. Magnus takes out now here the rook on c6, but here I wanted to show you after b takes a5 what actually happened. Magnus doesn't have to battle anymore against this pawn on the b file. He has created now himself two connected pass pawns in the endgame stage. The rook he took, of course, but now these pawns are marching, and there's no b pawn anymore that could hold, at least for a while, the position on this side of the board. Great play by Magnus Carlsen. Knight to f5 here by Alireza, d5 by Magnus. Here Alireza took, and now c5. Simply continue to push both of these amazing pawns. Rook to d8, rook to e6. Here again, the power of the most activity. Again, Magnus places the pieces where they're simply the best on the board. Alireza plays now knight to d4, but look at this great move now by Magnus Carlsen. Bishop to a4. This covered check. Here he escapes from this attack, and the issue is you cannot pick up the rook, because if you do that, then after knight takes e6 and d takes e6, there's nothing that can stop this pawn. e7, e8, the promotion will happen. Probably you give up then the rook for a pawn, and still we have a passer, and in this potential endgame, obviously, white is completely winning. So that's why after bishop to a4, king to a7, Magnus delivers a new check, king to b8, d6, simply pushing the pawn further, rook to c8. Alireza is trying to control, of course, here the c6 core. Magnus continues now with rook to e4, attacking the knight to f5, and now king to f2. A calm move here, allowing here Alireza to take rook takes c5, but now rook to e8, a calm move again here by Magnus, pushing the pawn further. Alireza got behind, but now after d8, rook takes d8, and rook takes d8. In this particular position, Alireza Firouzja resigned. So great game, I would say. Look at this, nothing can be done. Of course, you have a couple of pawns, but the rook is holding everything. Magnus won this game, believe me or not, without any inaccuracies, mistakes, or blunders. He played like a machine here, especially against such a strong player like Alireza. I think it's very, very tough to play a game like this. But this is epic chess, and Magnus Carlsen actually also won the Chessable Masters in 2024. Look at this, in my opinion, really one of the most spectacular games of this year for sure. So, okay, if you want to see some other competitive chess games here on my YouTube chess channel, here's the link of our playlist. And if you want to see more brutal, sharper, even more tactical games like this, check out our competitive chess games played by computers, where we analyze some beautiful AI games. And if you like this content, hit the subscribe button. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say in the end? Chess is the best, of course.